There comes a time in every cinephile's life when they must face the uncomfortable truth. Not every actor was born to be a chameleon. Some actors, rather than shape-shifting into 1,000 personalities, seem to stubbornly hit copy-paste on the same character, no matter the genre, the plot, or the stakes. Today, we examine the fascinating and completely uncharted, incredibly obvious case study of Kevin Hart. Let's be honest. Kevin Hart doesn't act in movies. He is Kevin Hart in movies. If you close your eyes during a Kevin Hart film, whether it's a buddy cop comedy, a family drama, or an animated children's adventure, you're essentially listening to the same guy yell his way through life with a slightly elevated heart rate and chronic exasperation. It's as if Kevin Hart exists in a multiverse where every Kevin Hart works in a different industry. Sometimes he's a cop, sometimes he's a dad, sometimes he's an animated bunny. But they're all fundamentally Kevin Hart. If there's one thing you can count on in a Kevin Hart performance, it's his versatility of the exact same personality. Kevin Hart's acting toolkit consists of 3 well-oiled gears. 1, screaming Kevin. 2, indignant Kevin. And 3, why is this happening to me? Every role he's ever played falls neatly into one or all of these categories. Take Central Intelligence, for example. Kevin plays a regular, mild-mannered accountant whose high school friend, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, naturally, ropes him into a CIA conspiracy. What follows is a showcase of classic Kevin Hart moods: screeching in terror when things blow up, getting flustered when The Rock inevitably takes his shirt off, and delivering endless monologues about how he didn't sign up for this. It's an impressive performance, in the sense that he manages to stay Kevin Hart even while supposedly fighting international crime. What's remarkable about these 3 moods is how reliably they hit. Directors don't seem to ask Kevin Hart to become someone new. They just ask him to be the same person, but with different outfits. Is he a cop? Great, give him a badge. Is he a dad? Hand him a baby. Is he a rabbit? Perfect. Animate him yelling. He's like a universal remote, capable of fitting any device, but always turning up the volume. It's impossible to talk about Kevin Hart's acting career without addressing the elephant, or rather, the very small man in the room, his height. Standing at 5 feet 2 inches, Kevin Hart has turned his stature into one of his greatest comedic weapons. He doesn't just lean into his height, he practically pole vaults into it. In almost every movie, his co-stars tower over him, which he expertly turns into a recurring joke. Whether he's paired with The Rock, Ice Cube, or even cartoon characters, Kevin's physical stature becomes part of the narrative. He's the guy who can't reach the top shelf, who has to sit on a booster seat, who somehow ends up getting picked up and carried by larger humans in nearly every film. And he milks it for all it's worth. But here's the thing. Kevin Hart's height isn't just a running gag, it's a metaphor. He's the ultimate underdog, the guy who always finds himself outmatched, outsized, and out of his league, yet somehow still comes out on top. His shortness isn't a limitation. It's part of his charm. And when you think about it, there's something deeply satisfying about watching the smallest guy in the room take center stage. To be fair, he knows what works for him. An endless loop of rapid-fire jokes, short guy energy that's been weaponized, and shouting about situations that are, quite frankly, not that dire. Did the toaster catch fire? Cue Kevin Hart screaming as if it were a zombie apocalypse. Did Dwayne Johnson steal his parking space? Get ready for a monologue about betrayal, followed by more shouting. Is he learning to fly a plane? Expect turbulence and yelling, but not a shred of character development. Kevin Hart's range as an actor is sort of like a ruler that only measures 1 inch. It's technically there, but it doesn't give you any useful information. You can throw him into any plot line, and he'll still default to the same 3 speeds. 1. Panicked Kevin. 2. Defensive Kevin. And 3. Kevin making fun of someone taller than him. It's a performance style that transcends all genres, settings, and contexts. Like a one-man sitcom that never gets canceled because it's somehow perpetually funny. Take a moment to consider his filmography. In Ride Along, he's a cop trying too hard. Classic, panicked Kevin. In Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. He's a small man trapped in a video game yelling about how he can't eat cake without dying. Panicked Kevin with jungle flair. In The Secret Life of Pets, he's a cartoon rabbit yelling at literally everything. Animated panicked Kevin. The man is not so much an actor as he is an enthusiastic participant in his own personality. But here's the thing. We don't want Kevin Hart to have range. Would you really want to see him play Hamlet? Imagine Kevin Hart pacing around the stage holding a skull yelling, "To be or not to be? I can't believe I have to decide this right now." Or Kevin Hart starring in a gritty war drama, pulling a fellow soldier out of the trenches while delivering his trademark staccato punchlines about the absurdity of battle. It wouldn't work. Kevin Hart doesn't adapt to the role. The role adapts to Kevin Hart. He is the human equivalent of finding out every ice cream flavor is secretly just vanilla. And you know what? That's fine. Vanilla sells. In a world where actors like Daniel Day-Lewis vanish into their characters, Kevin Hart is a beacon of consistency. He isn't here to surprise us, to move us to tears, or to show us the depths of human emotion. No, Kevin Hart is here to yell about how crazy everything is, and to remind us that, no matter the stakes, there's always room for an over-the-top comedic reaction. So let's celebrate Kevin Hart for exactly what he is, an actor with no range and no need for it. After all, if it ain't broke, why bother learning to act sad, serious, or subtle? Keep yelling, Kevin. We're still laughing. And perhaps that's the real genius of Kevin Hart. His ability to turn consistency into a career-defining art form. He's not just a comedian or an actor. He's a brand, a formula, and a source of joy for millions. In a world constantly craving novelty, Kevin Hart reminds us that sometimes sticking to what you do best is the boldest move of all.